Take two. I wasn't recording the first time. I only got the second half, so we're gonna try it again. Take two. All right. Hello. How are you? My name is Shauna. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
What's your name?
Dante Patterson.
Nice to meet you. Okay, so what brings you into treatment today?
Like I said, what brings me in today is, like I said, I know that a lot of times in my life, like I've used like drugs and alcohol as coping methods to help make myself feel better, and I just know that that's not because that doesn't make the problem go away. So I just know that I need to find healthier ways to deal with things when like there's always going to be stress, and I just need to find healthier ways to deal with that stress other than being high.
Feel that. All right, now tell me about yourself. Like, what are your current living arrangements?
Right now, I'm still living with my dad. Like I said, I moved back in here about a year ago, year and some change maybe. Like I said, I wasn't like a falling out with my old roommates. Like I said, we were having some financial difficulties, and we just both needed a reset. And we just decided it was best to kind of split up, and that way we could get ourselves in situations that we could save more money for ourselves to just
Move along.
further our goals and stuff like that. We were kind of in a sinking ship, and it just wasn't going to get better. So
How many was it? Like just you and one other person?
so it was me, a friend of mine, and his wife, but me and my friend were the only two working.
Oh, the wifey wasn't working?
Nah, but I mean, like, when I say she took care of home, like, she definitely took
sure
care of home.
ate,
Yeah, so.
I didn't know the wife lived with y'all too. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you still in contact with them? Are you still friends with them?
Yeah, we don't talk as often, but like I said, like my friend, like I said, we just was on the phone a few days ago, kind of catching up, trying to make some plans to get together sometime soon and do something.
That's gonna be fun. Hopefully, y'all enjoy yourselves. So, what's your history of drugs?
So primarily the main thing I've always done for a while is smoke weed. Like I said, though, I have had stints where I was popping Percocets, eating Xanax, and for a few years before like fentanyl really became a problem, I would eat Molly a few times a week.
How often do you feel like you like? How many years was that? Like 2-3 years with the Molly?
The Molly was about 2.5 years, like 2.5, 3 years. I was messing with that.
Okay. And then, did you have any withdrawal symptoms when you stopped doing it?
I kind of used to mess with my appetite a little bit. I could definitely find times where like I was a lot more irritable.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I would say mainly that. Just mainly like the irritability. Like I said, I already have an attitude problem, and sometimes like it would just make it that much worse.
I feel that. So the drugs wouldn't help you calm down. Like it will calm you down in the midst of it, but the after effect, you was a very angry person. And your appetite was messed up. Heard. So what about the perks? Did you go through? How often did you use them? I'm sorry.
Yeah, like I said, with the perks, not as often. Like I said,
like
that was mainly something if I was around a friend of mine who was eating them, then I might say, hey, let me get one, since you're getting it. But on and off, like I said, like pills really weren't my thing because, like I said, like I really saw like people with pill addictions.
Mm-hmm.
So pills were really like at least definitely like the perks. Like I said, the Xanax I was eating a little bit more frequently by the time I got around to that, but Percocets kind of used to make me feel sick at times, so that was kind of like the deterrent to really have me like messing with those a lot.
I feel that. Not everybody likes perks. I heard the highs and all that.
Yeah.
And I heard coming down is just horrible.
It sucks.
What about alcohol? Did you drink? How often did you drink if you did?
When I was drinking, like at a point, like I would drink every day, and not necessarily to the point of like drinking to be drunk, but
drinking to function.
Yeah, like I would just, well, not even just to function. It was just like at the end of I think at this point when I was drinking every day, it was because I wasn't smoking at all.
Oh, okay.
And so I just needed something, So instead of smoking a blunt at the end of the day, like I would go out, do my work, come home, and that I'm relaxing. Cool, make me a drink while I sit down and watch TV.
Okay, you switch one for the next.
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel like you smoke weed the way you drink, or?
I definitely smoke a lot more weed than what I was drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely smoke a lot more weed. Like I said, the alcohol, like I said, of course, like the drunken thing is like what is the deterrent? Because I'm like, all right, I don't want to get all messed up, and then like now I'm sitting here hugging my toilet all night.
I feel that. That shit is not fun.
Yeah.
I really do feel that. That the next day jitters.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you either keep drinking or you just be sick, and that's neither one is fun. So did you go through any treatment for either one of your that includes therapy? Did you go through any treatments for any of your drug use or anything like that? And then if you did, what was the outcome for it?
So I would say not directly for the drug use, but like I said, I was in therapy right before COVID hit for a few months, just for my depression, and she determined that I had like depression and anxiety, and of course like my drug use came up during those discussions, and so I was explaining to her how, like I do kind of use drugs and alcohol to make myself feel better, just because like I said, I don't always like the way I feel, like I said, even just for that little bit of time, it's just not as bad. It doesn't make it go away. Like I said, it's just not as bad. You know what I mean? So, like I said, it was just, I liked the way I felt better, more often than not.
I feel that. So what dates were you using? What date was you using? What dates did you go to therapy?
I was going to therapy. When did COVID hit? Was that?
I think
2020.
Yeah, and you said what is that? 6 months.
But I think it was. Yeah, I think COVID hit us like the end of 2020, going into 2021. We was in lockdown. So I'll say I was in therapy. I'm gonna say from like March or April to about.
That was peak COVID too.
I'm gonna say March or April to about August or September. Like I said, like that, like right around September, October. Because it was still overseas at that time, I remember. And then, like, toward the end of that year, we were getting more and more cases over on, stateside.
Damn. COVID was really a fever dream.
Man.
Oh, jeez, man. Talking about them dates just seems so crazy. Did you have any illnesses or injuries when you were born?
The only thing that I remember I had is that I do remember at a point in time, like, I was really bow-legged, and so I had to wear these like special shoes, like with this bar in them, to help me kind of help correct that. And I remember like just over time, like as I got older and I would see it, like I would kind of like make myself sit with my feet. I would try to like make myself walk with my feet out so that it wasn't as bad, because like my toes kind of used to really point into the point that like I would kind of like be kicking my feet
like
almost.
Tommy Hill, like Tommy Pickle. That's so adorable.
So yeah, that was about it as far as that.
Were you on any medication?
Was I ever on medication?
Like ever for anything? I know you said no to the psychologist.
Yeah, I was going to say, my therapist said, not necessarily that she was trying to recommend it to me. She just asked me if I ever thought about taking any antidepressants or anything. And I told her, like, no, just because anybody that I had ever talked to about it, like, always talked about how different they felt or how they didn't feel like themselves. Right. And I just didn't want that, you know what I mean? Like, it never sounded good, you know what I mean? So
I agree with that. It's not.
Yeah.
But if you ever get some time, look up mood stabilizers. I really do recommend those a little bit better.
Okay.
Rather than the antidepressants. I don't feel like they're for everybody either. I know we talked about your mental status as depression, but would you ever formally like diagnosed with it?
Not formally, no. Like I said, the therapist that I went to go see said that wasn't her department to diagnose me with depression and anxiety, but just from her medical stance, the things that I was saying, and just from our conversations over a few weeks, it was her determination that most likely I was suffering from, moderate to severe fits of depression and anxiety,
I feel that. And what are your symptoms when you have your depressive episode?
So whenever I get like super depressed, like I don't really like to, be around anybody. I'm not, really interested in talking to anybody.
Right.
Like my appetite is horrible, so it's really hard for me to eat. Kind of the same, like even at times like when I try to like stop smoking weed, like I'll get points where like I might start to feel hungry,
right?
And I'll go to eat like the smallest thing. I'll take a bite, and now I feel full.
as hell.
Yeah, like, and I can't eat anymore.
Do you sleep well?
I'm sorry.
Do you sleep well?
I It depends. Sometimes it's harder for me to stay asleep. Like I said, I sometimes I think I can still fall asleep at night, but like I wake up a lot more often, and like I'll wake up and be like depressed, like and waking up. Like I'll wake up and like have something on my mind from earlier. You know what I mean? Like out of a dead sleep, which is like the craziest thing to me sometimes. You know what I mean? And now that I wake up in that kind of mood, and of course, 2 o'clock in the morning, who you talk to, so I kind of end up being up for a little while, or I might have to get up and go smoke to see if I can kind of put myself back to sleep. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Does that ease your mind when you smoke?
Most of the time, yeah. Like I said, it's just even for them few hours. Like I said, like it dulls the emotion. So sometimes it's not even like where I just won't think about it. It's not as heavy on my mind.
Just calm it down a little bit.
Yeah.
I like to say settle the thoughts. Just want to run down one more thing with you, then we are all out of here. Family history. Does your mom and or dad have any alcohol problems?
So like I said, my father was a diagnosed alcoholic. Thankfully, like I said, some years ago, he really cut back on his drinking.
That's good.
To the point where, like I said, he's more of a social drinker these days. And even then, like he's not really out like that anymore. You know what I mean? There was definitely alcoholism, like on my mother's side of the family. Like so, like with my grandfather, two of my uncles, they were really heavy drinkers. I think one of them. I don't want to say something that isn't true, but I can't remember what harder drug it was, whether it was crack, whether it was cocaine, something like it was. It was one of those though.
They had a liquor and a jug.
Yeah, that I know he was using, and I believe my grandfather as well, on my mother's side. Like I said, as far as my father's side, like I said, never anything that I really noticed from them.
Just your dad?
Yeah, just my dad. Like I said, I didn't know his actual father to know what, like, I really don't know
what happened.
Like my father's side of the family. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I know my... not the way it's supposed to be, you know what I mean? So, like I said, like, my grandfather was actually, like, my uncle-in-law.
Right.
But, again, he was a military man, you know what I mean? Very, careful about, like, what he put into his body. He was always, to this day, he's still one of the most physically fit old men I've ever seen in my life.
I feel that.
I still feel like he would break me down. You know what I mean? So
do you feel like you have, like, a nice support system, especially, like, men-wise? Do you feel like you have a nice amount of, like, male support system? Do you feel like you have enough women in your corner? Because feel like men still need women in their corner as well.
I definitely have a good female support system.
That's good.
As far as the men in my family, we try to be there for each other. They try to be there for me, but mm-hmm. like, especially being a male and even more inherently a black male in America, mental health and feelings and emotions, a lot of that stuff doesn't get discussed, because, nobody understands that, like even myself, like that sometimes that's why it's so hard for me to, get back out there and go back to therapy or do certain things, because it's like you have an image.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, to uphold, whether it was an image you were given or not, whether you wanted that image or not, you know what I mean, and like, in my family, like, I have 4 sisters who are all younger than me. I have a brother that's younger than me, you know what I mean? And so I am looked at to be their protector.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I am looked at to be someone, they were brought up to know that they should be able to come to me for anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'll do my best to take care of it,
Mm-hmm.
So when you have those kind of expectations put on you, it's hard to show vulnerability or weakness, you know what I mean? Because not only for them, but to anybody who sees it, you know what I mean?
I feel that, yeah.
They have to know that,
those arise.
You know what I mean? If you bring drama over here, there are going to be repercussions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I said, sometimes it's hard to show that, it's hard to show somebody that their protector has an Achilles heel.
Because I was just about to ask you, how do you think they feel about you, like, using, because, like, smoking and stuff, like, do you feel like that hinders you from being as good of a protector as you want to be? Do you feel like Do your depression kind of hold you back from doing that? Do you feel like any of those kind of hinder you from being the protector that you want to be, or as to in their life as much as you want to be?
No, not so much the drug use. Definitely the depression at times because you know my one sister, like I said, some kind of stemming from like the abandonment issues and things like that. Like I said, I'm the single friend in a lot of my groups and stuff like that. It's like when I go around my sisters and their husbands and their boyfriends and their kids and stuff like that.
Both of your sisters are married?
No, well, my one of my sisters out of state, she's married. One of my sisters in state, she has a kid, and then my other sister in state, she just always has a partner. You know what I mean?
I feel that, yeah.
So I end up being the one, even though I love them and I love my niece with all my heart. You know what I mean? It's still a reminder of things that I don't have, and even though that might not be the main thing that I'm depressed, it's a trigger.
I feel that.
And then once I have that one thing, it just trickles down into like every other thing that I'm feeling in the moment. You know what I mean? And now I'm sitting here on the couch like envying my family almost. You know what I mean?
I feel that, yeah, because you just want the love and connection with.
Yeah, like when I see what everybody has, I'm like, man, like I just want that for myself.
Do you feel like that's where the drugs come in to mellow your mind, or like, all right, like, granted we don't have this, but I don't feel. And do you feel like less alone when you're high? Like, does it help you not realize like?
Yeah, because like I saw this thing somewhere, and it's more of like a joke, but like it's true. And they said like like weed is something to do when there's nothing to do. That makes nothing to do something to do. And a lot of times that's what it is. Like I'm sitting there, and I might have been sitting here for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, just in my thoughts, and I'm like, man, I'm tired of this. Yeah. I can take about 45 minutes, chill, go downstairs, break me down some weed, roll me a blunt, smoke.
So do you make
watch
like
some
that's
YouTube
a hobby,
videos,
like a process? Like you like
that's exactly what it is. I look at it as a process. Like, all right, cool. I know that this can take at least an hour, and then once I'm high, like I'm not gonna be thinking about this as much because now I'm gonna come back up here and I'm gonna get on TikTok. I'm gonna get on YouTube. My reels are gonna be funny. Yeah. I might fall asleep and take a nap. You know what I mean?
But you at least feel rejuvenated. Like you feel you did something in a sense. Like your time wasn't per se wasted. You did something. Like, you entertained yourself. That's actually a really good one. I actually really understand that too. I'm like that. Alright, I want to add just a little bit more sprinkle in there because that was a nice little piece of conversation. I wish we got the first ad. That was beautiful. Let's see. We talked about that. I don't know. We might be good. Alright, we're good. A die missed of us. All right, back to what we was on.
So, like I said, he was a really bad alcoholic at a point in his life. So, like I said, I know about that. And I can't remember, like I said, many other like substance issues that he had. But as far as my mother's side of the family, what was that? I know 2 of my uncles were alcoholics as well, and it wasn't both of them. My Uncle Junior was a Marine, I want to say,
right,
or a corpsman, something like that. But he served in the military as well, and I think that was when he started, like really drinking heavily, and when he got out, doing other drugs and stuff like that. But like I said, like the alcoholism was definitely one that I know I believe he still struggles with, if I'm not mistaken.
All right. But so that's your grandfather on your mom's side. What about your grandfather on your father's side?
I never met my actual grandfather. The man that I grew up calling my grandfather was actually like my father's side of the family. His family tree is weird. So
I feel that.
My grandfather, my papa, is actually my uncle-in-law because his wife is actually my aunt, not my grandmother. My actual grandmother and my father had issues, and so he went to go live with her sister.
And that's who your grandmother
is. So that became my grandmother and my grandfather. I really don't even like my grandmother, my actual grandmother on my father's side like that. So
you be like that. Totally understandable. We all got that one family member. So did either one of them, do you know if they had real bad, do you feel like either one of them had bad alcohol?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Like I said, my grandfather was in the National Guard, after he got out of the army. Always like physically fit. Like I don't think I've. It wasn't too many times actually. I think that I ever actually saw my grandfather drink. You know, I'm not saying that he wasn't. I just didn't see it.
No, I feel
you know what I mean.
So probably was a nice little healthy.
Yeah,
balance.
Like I said, same thing with my grandmother. Like I said, I know like she'd have her wine here and there, but never anything that I saw or heard was ever a problem. Like with them, you know, I mean, like for my father or any of my aunts.
Okay. Do you feel you have support? Like if you wanted to stop smoking weed, do you feel your dad would support you or your stepmom or anybody like that?
Oh yeah, I definitely think like if I went to them and said like, and I asked, you know, for any kind of resource or anything like that they might be able to help me with that, they would certainly be there to, you know, support me in any way that I needed as far as that.
Okay, cool. Do you feel like they're gonna bring like? Well, I'm not gonna ask you that. Do you have any legal issues, current or past?
No, I haven't had any legal issues in a long time. Like I said, the last thing I had was like a minor drug charge on my record, which honestly was just a thing of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like I didn't actually physically possess anything, which is why I ended up, you know, taking my case to trial and stuff like that. Right. But no, so I can't. I never really. I don't want to say like I don't want to brag, but I say like I was good at what I did, but like.
I didn't get caught.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't a whole lot of times I had to actually deal with the police, you know, other than...
that's good, though.
You know, I've been to the station a lot. You know, I've never went from the station to the jail. You know what I mean?
I feel that. So you've always been a good standard.
Yeah.
What's your highest highest education completed?
I graduated high school with my diploma.
Heard. Employment history, where are you currently employed at and in your last job?
So right now I've been at Curio Wellness for the last year and a half. Mm-hmm. You know, it has ups and downs like any other place. Before that, I had like 2 smaller jobs like over the course of like a year, but like the most prominent job I had before that was the 5.5, almost 6 years that I spent working for Amazon.
Okay.
Like I said, that was certainly an experience. You know, went through a couple of different buildings, so it was nice while I was there though.
Both warehouse jobs, I know they were very interesting.
Yeah.
So how do you feel like your readiness for treatment is? Like, do you feel like comfortable about it? Are you ready to jump into treatment? Do you feel like you need a couple, like, where are you at on the scale of readiness?
I'm definitely ready. It's definitely something that I need to do. It's definitely something that's been on my mind heavy for the last few months. I just have to get out my own way and actually just do it. Like, and it's just because like there's this minor information I need to get like from my insurance company. And literally, I could have it taken care of in a matter of minutes. You know what I mean?
That was my next question. Do you have insurance and stuff? Because I feel like that would be the best way so they can go ahead and pay for it. It won't be in your pockets at all.
Yeah. But like, I definitely have the resources to do it. I just need to actually go and do it, you know, and like just stop being lazy. But it's just a lot of times like
just a little
I work so much that when I'm off, I don't be feeling like doing certain things. You know, I just want to relax and get some rest and have some fun, maybe. You know.
Hopefully one day you don't have to work like the whole day at work and just like split up some of your activities throughout the day. That's how you can do some things.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'd be having to do. Is do some things during the week. That's how your weekends you can still have at least one day of relaxation and then just, you know, break up your to-do list in the midst of it. Because going to the market and stuff during the week that is a journey.
Yeah.
All right, Dante. I feel like that is all my questions. So hopefully we can get you started. We're ready to go in our Miss Mosley Treatment Center. All right, Dante. Thank you, babes.
I appreciate you.
Appreciate you too.